It's something fancy today. It's called clafoutis or clafoutis. I'm not sure. I don't speak French. And it is delicious. It's like a cross between a custard and a cake. It's really dense, but it's got fruit on it, which cuts the thickness of it. It's just really good. So you start off with a cup of milk of your choice, which I've already poured in here, and you add 3 eggs. And I like to always beat my wet ingredients before I add the dry. So I'm just going to beat those a little bit until those egg yolks break and it turns a nice golden color. There. Next, I am adding a little less than 1/4 cup of monk fruit, which is a sweetener that is really low, like 0 on the glycemic index. So that's important to me. We just have way too much sugar in our diets. And monk fruit is something that your body actually sees as an herb, so it doesn't mess with your metabolism, and that's important. And coconut flour is also a really nice low-carb, gluten-free option. Coconut flour is, though, very dry, so ordinarily, if I was going to use cassava flour, I would use a full 1/2 cup. But when I've made this with cassava flour before, I didn't care for the texture so much. I really like the texture of the coconut flour. So this is about 1/2 cup minus 2 tablespoons. And that's going in next. Getting beaten a little more. This is a really nice dessert, or it's something that you could serve for brunch. It's quite versatile, and I'm telling you, it's so delicious. It's not quite like a quiche. I don't know how to describe it except that it's like a cross between a custard and a cake. Really good. Now you can see the batter is really wet. This is not the kind of batter. Ooh. Gotta clean that up. This is not the kind of batter that you might expect. You might be looking for something a little thicker, but this is perfect. Next, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. I like Watkins. This is a nice brand, and you can get it in the supermarket. So it's all vanilla. If you're not going to make your own, make sure you get something good. That's 1.5 teaspoons. And just 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I just want to eyeball it in my hand. And I'm going to call that 1/4 teaspoon because it looks about right. There we go. Now the coconut flour has really absorbed the liquid. So you can see, while it's still a very wet kind of a batter, it's not as wet as it was. The coconut flour is really very nice for this. Do I need anything else? I do not. Really easy, right? I have prepared, I'm doing it in a pie pan just because this is what I had, and it's easy, and I greased it with a little ghee. You could use coconut oil, and in terms of the milk, you could use whatever kind of milk you'd like. You could use coconut milk, almond milk. I did a combination of coconut and almond milk because that's what I put in my coffee every morning. Actually, coconut and flax milk is what I put in my coffee every morning. It is what gets me going. There we go. Very pretty. I've got the oven preheating at 325. And now I'm going to add our fruit. I pitted and froze these beautiful cherries last year, so I'm going to drop some of those around the top of this. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm dropping cherries around the top of it. And because I didn't have enough cherries, I pulled some blueberries out of the freezer that I also froze last year. Let's see how far this goes. You really want a substantial amount of fruit on top. You want about at least a cup, maybe a cup and a half of berries of some kind. I would imagine you could use anything. I think pineapple or mango would be really good on this. But I am particularly fond of cherries. And they are around for such a short period of time. That's why I freeze them. Okay, here's frozen blueberries, which have begun to thaw, so they will be just perfect. I'm just knocking stuff all over the place. Luckily, I don't mind. And obviously the dogs don't mind either. Oh, that's pretty. See? And now you actually dot the top with a little bit of butter. So I've got some beautiful Kerrygold here. And I am cutting off about a tablespoon into sections. So a little messy, but what I'm doing is I'm breaking it into tiny pieces and dotting the top further so that we're going to have these little pockets of delicious buttery goodness. Because Kerrygold, I just have no words. These are from very happy Irish cows. And I have seen those Irish cows. They are very happy. We were, a girlfriend and I and her husband were in Ireland many years ago. Well, 15 years ago. And I guess that's many. And we were on a road that turned into a dirt road that turned into, I don't know, it was like a pasture because the farmer was just letting those cows cross the road at their own leisure, and we were going to wait, and that's all there was to it. They were going from one field to another, and those cows had zero stress in their lives. So now the butter is on top, so there's a little bit less butter than there is of the fruit. And now I am going to put it in the oven for about 35 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I want it to just get golden, and then I'll pull it out and you'll see how delicious it is. Okay, I just took it out of the oven. It was in for a half hour and it is absolutely beautiful. Mmm, Clafoutis. Yum. So, cut into it. It's going to be super hot, but it's so light and moist. Super, super moist. Let's see. Oh, and it's got that custard like, look, don't you want it? Yes, you do. It's like an airy, light custard cake combination with fruit. Oh, it's so good. That's it. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. That is so good. And you saw how easy it is. The recipe will be on the website, Healthy Food Scientist. You have to make this. Make it for a brunch. Make it for a dessert. And when you say, oh, it's Clafoutis, people will be so impressed with you. If you want to, you can make it using regular flour. I do things gluten-free because I know how hard people who are gluten-free struggle to find good recipes. And this is a real nice dessert or brunch. whatever. Snack, breakfast, I don't know. I think I'm going to be eating it all week. So go to my website and give it a try and enjoy.